So what's new this week in theaters? Let's get right to it.
Right now, Berlin owns the title to Earth. Once you claim it, the Earth will belong to you.
Last weekend, a movie sure to land on most every critic's year-end worst movies of the year list, Jupiter Ascending hit theaters. I'm not going to spend much time on it, other than to say that it's undeniably awful. It's a bit of a disappointment for me, since I absolutely loved the Wachowski siblings' last film, Cloud Atlas. But if that movie was like watching an acrobat beautifully and delicately balance a series of spinning plates all at once in an impressive display of patience and wonder, then Jupiter Ascending can be likened to a bull charging full speed into a china shop. It's loud, ridiculous, and painful to watch. I guess sometimes being ambitious just isn't enough. Jupiter Ascending gets a D-.
Manners maketh man. Do you know what that means? Then let me teach you a lesson. Are we going to stand around here all day, or are we going to fight? Sorry about that. Needed to let off a little steam.
To contrast Jupiter Ascending's horribleness, we have the wickedly funny and confidently executed spy comedy, Kingsman, The Secret Service. This was just a great deal of fun. It sits comfortably in a space between a really good James Bond movie and the silly buffoonery found in something like Get Smart or Spy Hard. Best of all, Kingsman is one of the first comic book movies intended for adults. It's super violent in a Kill Bill kind of way, and there are more F-bombs here than one might expect. And it's damn funny. Instead of being aimed at the pimply teenagers of the world, it instead aims at the pimply teenagers now trapped and living inside of 20 or 30-something-year-old bodies. Kingsman is the reason why people go to the movies. Best yet, gentlemen, your significant other owes you for dragging you into 50 Shades of Grey this Valentine's Day weekend. The least she can do is let you go see Kingsman. I, for one, can't wait for the inevitable sequel in what might be my new favorite comic book film franchise. I give Kingsman, The Secret Service, a solid A.
He was polite, intense, smart, really intimidating. Do you have any interests outside of work?
What about you? I'd like to know more about you.
There's really not much to know about me. Look at me.
I am.
The film adaptation of 50 Shades of Grey is one of the most highly anticipated films in recent years, which is of course based on one of the most successful paperbacks ever written. I am a man after all, so I don't claim to fully understand the 50 Shades phenomenon that's captured the minds and the imaginations of millions of women around the globe. I can tell you after watching it, it wasn't nearly as bad or as controversial as I had thought it would be based on all the hype. Dakota Johnson is mesmerizing in the role of Anastasia Steele, and Jamie Dornan creates a very compelling sociopath in Christian Grey. But those thinking that this is going to be an X-rated romp full of sex and submission, think again. This is actually a pretty tame and proper film. Many will get caught up in the taboo topics that the film centers around, but in a general sense, 50 Shades is actually a very relatable romance, dealing with what can be considered normal relationship issues, like negotiation, the give and take, and the gradual transformation one makes when they fall in love. There are several flaws, and this first chapter of a planned trilogy ends way too abruptly, but I actually thought that this was better than I had expected. And it's sure to please the rabid female fanbase who have been pining over it since it was announced. While not quite as racy as I thought it'd be, I give 50 Shades of Grey a B-. That's all for this week. You can find all of my full movie reviews and coverage of the CBS show Survivor on my website, tomsantilli.com, and be sure to follow me on Twitter as well, @TomSantilli. Also be sure to like Movie Show Plus on Facebook. Tune in next week when my reviews will include Hot Tub Time Machine 2, along with a film from Russia that was just nominated for Best Foreign Film at the Oscars, Leviathan. See you then.